Hi, welcome back. This is another video that I'm recording. I just thought I don't know, thought I'd do a few just because I had some ideas kind of ready to go. Um, so this is going to be pretty quick after the first one, but this is my list, my personal list of top 10 superhero movies. So, to get into some of the rules, this, you know, I'm just kind of judging stuff that I've watched, and I've had time to kind of sit with. Some of these I don't think are well. A lot of these are just not really most recent. These are just things that I really like watching. And then the next thing is that this is a live action list. This doesn't count animated movies. That would kind of be like a separate thing. So I think you can do different stuff in the medium of animation than you can in live action. Um, and so yeah, there's like maybe one pick in there that like you know, just tell me in the comments if you like it, if you dislike it. I don't know, But yeah, so to begin at number 10, we have Captain America: Civil War. This movie is just so much. I mean, it is a Captain America movie, and people argue, like, well, it's a Captain America movie, but it's an Avengers movie, which adds to how great it is. It's like, I mean, maybe, but, you know, focusing on, like, the stuff that's in the movie, it is a lot of stuff they're handling. But mainly, it is just Captain America versus Iron Man. Like, you got all those characters doing their thing in the background, but the main thing that's going on is Captain America versus Iron Man, which is just like they do it so great in that. I think people were kind of speculating that it was going to be a bit more massive than it was, as fans do. Um, but like, you know, I don't care. This thing is great. Black Panther's in there. That's like a point of like drama for that character is that his dad dies directly due to Bucky's like actions as the Winter Soldier. Captain America's obviously trying to protect the Winter Soldier still, even after Captain America 2, and like they like figure out that yeah he's like a brainwashed agent still. So him and his squad of misfits kind of have to like well, he's like he's my best friend and we've all been given a chance before, so I want to protect him. Meanwhile, Iron Man is dealing with his pressures from guilt and the government, and he's, he's trying to crack down on this, and he's just like, Captain, you're making a mistake. You're being a butt. Captain America's like, no, you're being a butt, and that's how they start a civil war. Zemo was the one who kind of started all this by activating Bucky to do what he does, and then also being at the place and time to reveal at the end of the movie, which is like the big reveal is that like in that movie, I'll kind of save that in case anyone hasn't seen it, but I've kind of explained a lot of the movie already. Um, but yeah, it's just they juggle. They don't juggle a lot. I think they juggle a little, and it's great. There's just a lot of characters in it. So, next thing, number 9, large. This movie's large. This is Infinity War. Now, this one is different from Civil War because this actually just is a lot of stuff going on. Um, you know, they don't really like that's just me. But they don't really like do a whole lot with the characters in terms of development. But I mean, how can you? There's just so many. Like the main dude, I think they really focus on, or pair of dudes, is probably like Iron Man and Doctor Strange. I don't know if that's quite true. And then Thor, of course, and Captain America. They focus on kind of those core guys. Just because they've got, I mean, one, it's the big three, and then it's Doctor Strange, who's probably like the most powerful character in this movie, other than Thanos. But um, like it's the big three. It's the guys everybody's familiar with. Thor, of course, gets a major buff in this movie. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Like he's not doing his Goku electric stuff from like or like his infamous second son stuff from like Thor 3, but he's kicking butt. He just, and then Iron Man's got his new nano armor and pals around with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Captain America's got his new funny looking shields. I mean, I wasn't really a fan of those. Um, but he's having fun in Wakanda. That's cool. And of course, all the fight scenes were great. This movie really does not slow down. It doesn't slow down with the action. It's got a lot of characters, but it makes it work. And I think that that is a testament to how well these superhero movies can really do. Um, you know, it is at the end of the day purely just nerd cinema, but it's fun. And it just works as standalone, to be honest. But anyway, next up we got number 8. Number 8 would be X-Men Days of Future Past. Now, any movie with time travel gets to be a bit complicated. I think this movie just does it to where, like, it was just, I think, fortunate that they had that separate, like, sort of X-Men universe running in tandem with, like, these, like, the Fox dudes who go back. That made it a lot less confusing to general audiences, I think. I think that was a factor. But basically, this is like the time travel movie where they try to make changes and like save an eventual future. Um, like send Wolverine back. He's like, because I mean he's Hugh Jackman. We gotta send him back, and then he's gotta save the future because it sucks right now. It's a pretty cool movie. Juggle a lot in here. You've got just Wolverine kind of playing into all the dynamics of the other X-Men team, while his X-Men team is totally eating just eating crap in the future, and filled with ton of drama. You've got tons of stuff going on. I keep saying some pretty vague stuff. I just don't really want to spoil the movie in case anybody hasn't seen it, but this leads into the newer X-Men movies with that same like younger cast, but also the like the Logan movie. But yeah, cool, great. Number 7. Now we've got a more like down project. Like down is in like now we're focusing on one character, or like a handful, but mainly one main character instead of a bunch. Iron Man is just great. There's some cheese in there. Of course, they switched the actor. Shame what happened there. That was pretty just annoying. That was pretty bad. It's terrible. But like the roadie actor. But this movie is just tons of fun. Great comfort movie. I hate saying this. I mean, you get it if you get it, but it is one of those movies you can kind of just turn on and just, I don't know, you could cook, you could clean, you could be doing, I can't do it while doing homework. I need to focus, but you could be doing tons of other stuff, maybe playing a game, and you just know exactly where you are in the movie. It's just great, you know. Um, that sound design on that armor, just the way it looks, it's just perfect. It's just awesome. It's just slick. It's cool. And like even the Mark 1 armor or Mark 0, I don't know, Mark 1, that thing just it screams cool. That thing is metal, man. Like funnily enough, the mask on that thing actually looks like kind of like a Doctor Doom mask. I don't know. I brought that up to a friend when we were talking about like Tony variant stuff for Doctor Doom, but you know, this thing is just it's slick. It's slick, man. Anyway, um, next up, number 6, Blade. Now, if any of my, I guess, some of my friends know, I'm a pretty big Blade fanatic. Versus a lot of the other Marvel movies. This one is very, very different, and it just owns it. It's amazing. Um, I don't know who picked Wesley Snipes to play Blade, but that is the only person I honestly picture as Blade. I mean, they got the new actor. Um, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He voiced Titan, I'm pretty sure, in the Invincible show. But like, yeah, I think so. Am I wrong? I don't know. But like, he seems like he could play Blade. It's just that Wesley Snipes was just he just knocked it out of the park. Of course, he does weird stuff in these movies, but it's like it's perfect. It's funny as hell. It's great. It's funny as hell. It looks cool. Um, just a couple of one-liners. I don't like cursing. I have a bit of a sailor's mouth, so I'll kind of just say them as like, kind of what they were. But it's like some people always try to ice skate uphill, or like, are you out of your like, I don't, yeah. I don't like cursing online, even though I have a sailor's mouth. But it's just funny. It's great. Interactions with Whistler. Whistler, oh my God! Speaking of sailor's mouth, he curses so much, and it's funny. It's funny as hell. Like it's just great. There's like times where, because in this movie they kind of do that thing where they give you a character as an audience member to reflect off of. They give Blade like this woman, and so they're like kind of walking around, and she's like, "Oh, what's this, Blade? What's this part of this world I've never seen before?" And Blade's like, "That's the Vampire Bible." Me and my friends joke like, "Vampires invented the dentist. That's how they get you to go outside." It's just stuff like that. Vampires invented refrigerators as an excuse to make up a way for food preservation when in reality they are the only ones who need it. It's like you could just make a ton of jokes about how he does his stuff in this movie. He's crazy. Just this dude walking around in a full black trench coat, myrtleizing vampires in broad daylight with just fully automatic weapons. It's funny as hell. It's just crazy. Like, it sounds terrifying, but I mean, like, it's just it's funny. Trust me. But great movie. Next one, number 5. Getting into the top 5. Um, got Logan. Now, I don't know about timelines and stuff. Like, I think there's someone who probably has said that this is in a separate timeline. But for me, I personally like to think that this is after the events of Days of Future Past. 'Cause that's how I think time travel would have worked in that situation. Is maybe Wolverine did save a timeline from their future, but that Wolverine, like, he can't be killed by the Sentinels, so he escapes and he just becomes Logan. Or, they escape with the help of Charles, but yeah, he just becomes Logan. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they were in a pretty dire situation in Days of Future Past. But this movie is just all around great. It is a very, very sad movie. Um, it, I would say the rated R rating is justified. It's also pretty morbid. It's just really, it is a really, really sad movie. But for a superhero movie to do what this one does, it's like, man, it's pretty great. Um, just all around great. I don't know if it follows, like, it really doesn't follow like the whole Old Man Logan story, I don't think. Like, as much as, like, there's only so much they can pull off in the movie. But like they did, it's just great. It's just great. I like movies that do different things and they turn out great. I just like great stuff, to be honest. And this one is one of those. So, but yeah, bring a tissue box. So, next one, number 4, The Dark Knight. Very choppy image there. This movie is just all around slick, I do have one gripe. Um, this isn't total review time, but it is just kind of how the Two-Face actor kind of seems on like another. It's like he's operating on some other like plane compared to the rest of the characters, and I guess he technically is in a narrative sense. It's just like some of the acting and some of the line delivery is kind of like goofy in some parts. I don't know, but this movie is just all around slick. You got Bruce's stuff, you got Batman's stuff, and you got it all kind of coming into play. Like a lot of, I think one criticism someone had about this trilogy is that it focuses too much on Bruce instead of Batman, and I'm like, eh, who cares? And then there's people that say it's like, oh, it's too realistic. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, I've heard that before. Too realistic that this guy can do all this crazy stuff. Sure, sure. Um, but on the other hand, like, oh, well, it takes place in a realistic. Like, he doesn't. It's like not that it's that realistic. It's like that he doesn't fight Clayface or Mr. Freeze or scare like the actual like the cartoonishly costumed version of Scarecrow, and it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, sure, but these movies are heavily stylized and they look great anyway. Why are you complaining? Eat it, consume. Inner nerd argument, but this movie is just great. Rolls over very, very smooth, and it is so refined, and just like I mean, the main star of the show in this movie, it's got to be the Joker. He's just amazing. Like no other Joker adaptation, I don't think, still, in my opinion, really, really hits me as hard as this one. I mean, Mark Hamill's Joker is always just a classic. I mean, it's just a great voiceover. Um, you know, but he's done so much. Like just the character motivation from property to property can be so crazy. But this Joker is just so like it's just so special in that way. It's just I guess it's just it has the advantage of only appearing in one movie, but it's just amazing. Um, Slick freaking movie. Of course, they changed the suit from the Batman Begins, and I do like the Batman Begins one. Um, because it made him look like I saw a video, but I also just think it made him look a bit more darker, if that makes sense, like a bit more like scary than like battle armor Batman. But yeah, great movie. Can't stop gushing about it. It's like Iron Man. You can just turn it on. Great comfort movie. um, Number three, top three. This is a bit of a controversial one, but I don't care. This movie is fabulous, fabulous. So one common criticism with this movie trilogy, I need to stop saying that. If I review these movies separately, then I can save it for those. But it's important to bring up because this is one of those like I would say more controversial picks in some people's opinions. Some people really don't like this movie. Um, but like who am I justifying it to? I don't know. I'm just explaining myself, I guess. But basically, you know, it's great, I think, because it doesn't focus on Batman. It focuses on his villains. And even if they make strange changes to the villains that don't really align with their base character, it just looks great. They went to such effort to fit in these characters to the stylization and just the stuff that's like presented in this movie, like with like the gothic architecture, like the depressing like sort of feeling of being in like Gotham City. Like, it kind of makes me feel like the whole like when like in the animated show, like the classic one, like the Timverse or whatever, I don't know how to explain it, but like when Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill were voicing their characters. Like how they make the sky, red every now and then. Same thing with like the Batman animated show. Um, like that red sky or like just the depressing like features of Gotham that are always shown at like twilight or night. It's like this is kind of like just runs along that. It feels so homey in a sense. I don't know. It's just but they put these crazy characters in this movie, like Catwoman, who is instead of just being a petty burglar, she's actually like a sort of like a revenant who just hates men. It's like but it's freaking sick. Like it's great. Like you just have to see it. It just evokes some sort of like primal feeling when you see her transformation, and then it's just fun seeing her do her thing after that. And then the Penguin, like he's just he's part of it's funny, but it's like the way that they dress the character up. It's like, oh man, he is truly a evil individual. I would say, very very like disgusting. And like they go to the whole thing of like explaining that he was just born that way. um, like you know, he's and I mean they focus on them more than Batman. That's like the main I think thing people say about this movie. I don't care. That's like probably the most interesting thing about Batman is his villains and how he thinks about stopping them. So, like, and we already know who Batman is. Like, we don't need to explore that every single movie. It's like the same argument with, like, Spider-Man and Uncle Ben. Do we really need to show another Uncle Ben dying? Like, do we really need to show Bruce's parents dying yet again? Like, the movie can stand on its own without showing that, in my opinion. Um, so, but yeah, this is just great. Great stuff. I just really like the look of it. Anyway, enough gushing. Number two. This is also another pick that's just really personal to me. Superman, the movie. I talked with a friend a while ago. Maybe Lex Luthor isn't totally accurate to the character, whatever. And maybe it's a bit goofy. But like, oh my gosh, this I watched this probably for the first time maybe like a year or two ago. Um, Now it's like 2025. But this thing is just great. Like, it is just so hopeful. And the actor to play Superman is just perfect. That is honestly who I see when I think of Superman. He's just great. Like, um, like I don't care how the costume looks. I don't care about how the effects look. It's just perfect. It's a perfect sit down. It is pretty long, but it's great. Um, yeah, like I don't know what else to say. It's just a really hopeful movie. I don't want to spoil too much. It just the stuff when, especially when he's young Clark, was really really great. And then when he gets to the city, that's also just it's really funny how he acts out his Clark Kent persona, but everybody's kind of just treating him like he's he's a bit like dirt when he's actually Superman. Um, he's just, or not like dirt necessarily. It's just that they don't really care about Clark to the point where they don't really put two and two together, and it's kind of funny, you know. Um, and then every now and then, like Clark will do something super heroic, and he'll be like, "Phew, nobody saw that." And it's just like a part of the charm of the character. It's awesome. So yeah, Superman. And then number one pick, probably a bunch of other people's number one pick. Get into conflicts of being different and then being the same, but yeah, whatever, I'll just get into it. Spider-Man 2, another kind of choppy image. This is just amazing. It's just wonderful. Just, you know, difference between this one and Spider-Man 1 is Spider-Man 1 takes a lot of time to focus on building up these characters in this universe, but Spider-Man 2 is just amazing. Like he's just juggling so many different things, and at one point he just wants to give up because he just thinks it'd be easier. But because he's Spider-Man, he doesn't. Like he realizes that like if no one will, or if I don't, who will? You know? It's like it's just amazing, and he makes it work. He makes it work in the end, and that is just perfect for a hero like this. It's just there's so many factors and there's so many stakes, but he makes it work, and it's just really, really. It's just something nice to see somebody winning. Um, who's in a pretty destitute situation of their own. Um, but yeah, like you know. And then like obviously the fights are just great. I know I have a soft spot because these were the first Spider-Man movies I watched, and he is my favorite character ever since I was a kid. Like I had tons of Spider-Man paraphernalia. I actually did watch the 90s cartoon. I couldn't watch any other cartoon after that. I kind of tried with Spectacular Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man. I liked them, given that I was a fan, but like yeah, 90s cartoon and this is just it's just great. Um, yeah, like and that costume, sick as hell, wonderful, wonderful movie, all around amazing. Anyway, enough gushing. That's the business. Thanks for watching. More stuff to come along the way, and I'll probably, I don't know, make an intro video at some point because that's kind of necessary in order for me to stop yapping between things on these videos. And then also, I'm probably going to also cover just other stuff, to be honest. I have tons of ideas on what I could do. It's just, it's just random stuff that kind of comes from different corners of things that I appreciate, or like kind of look at as cool. So, you know. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.